Alright, guys. 3 cons and 6 pros of the future that could exist in our future. Never mind the garbage laundry in the background. That's not even me. It is me, but I'm dealing with it. I couldn't leave the headset lying around in the Bluetooth is, long story short, the Bluetooth does not last long on the other side of the house. So if I'll just, never mind that. Anyways, first con, aquatic gales as an energy source that reverse psychologizes how people see renewable energy in the economy at large. Water and air don't mix well. Think of what we understand about renewable energy and non-renewables. How people will, how the society at large does propagandize in a bad commoners understanding way that new renewable energy does not become easy as long as we have non-renewables that we have to use as our main source, and then non-renewables are uh the compensation of we need this now even if we can still use renewable energy. How that's taught over ages, and renewable energy would be better and more useful and more infinitum, but we can't use it right now, and now that's been propagandized in a poor way. So aquatic gills is a take on that, explaining that the combination of air and water will brainwash people into thinking that the things that don't even have anything to do with each other and don't even combine well as an effect of that will reverse psychologize how they see renewable energy and non-renewable sources, and be like, see, now you have it for free. Look at that now. It won't even work anyways. No, that's not how it works. You reverse psychologize the context and the application of it. So now people understand the wrong thing about the right thing. And there, as we can understandably misunderstand and judge the facts, this happens in a very cock-asswards way. This is just a possibility, but this is also just a brainstorm, so don't just take my words with a grain of salt if that actually happens in the future. Aquatic gales. Water and air do not mix well indeed. Con number 2. A law doing a reverse take on how big tech steals personal info, instead has that info harder or even impossible to use on a personal demanded level. You know how people always complain, they're stealing your data. Oh no, those big companies are stealing your data. Don't dox yourself on the internet, or else people will have information that not even you know they have. And then it just goes in this large loophole of, but if I never get to be myself online, why am I using the internet? And that's a deeper controversial philosophy, but like, why am I using the internet if I'm trying to be honest anyways? It's like I'm using a big resource without expecting much for myself on it. It's like different philosophy, but in another video. But so this law will be like, okay, now they'll do a 180. Instead of stealing your info, they'll make it hard for you to use your own info the way that you need to understand it from yourself and your allies and your like-minded people. You'll have a hard time understanding that using tech alone than if you just had your own info from a way that was not standardized or centralized, whatever. But that's the different idea of that. So it'll be hard to understand what you know about yourself from that tech or from that that desperate and demanded environment than if you did know about yourself ahead of time and didn't know how to worry about that. Maybe that could be different, but that would be a pretty effed up law, wouldn't it? Instead of exploiting your info to other people and selling your personal info, they do the opposite, make it hard for you to understand yourself. Like, dude, being hard to find your own pictures of yourself or find your own info on yourself that tells you about things that you don't have to know on an amnesiac level, but still. So yeah. And finally, con number 3. People are conditioned to believe that emotions exist in all these specific situations, that anyone taking control of their energy does outcast is crazy. There's a big debate across NoFap and Zero Intention, MGTOW, some Red Pillars, some social philosophy YouTubers, some different kinds of YouTubers, video game YouTubers, entertainment YouTubers, and manga YouTubers, even some YouTubers in the music industry. We'll talk about this stuff. There's a big debate about what counts as being in control of your own energy on a spiritual level, what counts as being in control of your own emotions on a stoic level. Again, no offense to your intention. So some of the people like Young Novelli, and you could easily butt heads with Young Novelli and Bass Fuzz if you knew what they were talking about on either end of that. I believe the 4-side strategy, that it's like, that's a person, the other party, the third party that gets involved to intervene, and the fourth party that has nothing to do with it but can still help you. That's for another video as well. But basically, everyone knows something that you don't. So the thing I go about is that you don't have to know everything about stoicism or emotional context and art and animation or even your own energy and control your own vibration. All I'm saying is this would be a conditioning in the future that I'm brainstorming that prevents people from understanding what they do with their own emotions, because they're being conditioned to believe that you can only be angry when you're at work, you can only be sad when you're at a funeral, you can only be happy when you're at the carnival. And that's just a silly example, but it still could be really bad at that point. Like it's just the conditioning on not just a physical level, but even a sentimental of this situation is not appropriate for your emotions. Stop controlling your emotions, please. Stop controlling your energy. You don't get to do that. It's not even a law, but we're gonna make you feel bad about it. That kind of conditioning. That'd be pretty bad. So let's get out of the dark pits for now. After these 6 minutes of somber negative brainstorming, because some negative brainstorming is good. Spend at least one session of your visualization moments thinking of only the negativity, and see if that makes you more realistic as a person, because that realism is important, even if you shouldn't focus on it. So yeah. Anyways, my 6 pros. Starting with this one. The style of which social events, methods, and philosophies emerge was so interesting no one feels left behind, and even the true outcast is mended. How good would that be? Where you don't have to worry about my sort of weird and wacky, insightful rally point culture. I'm not gonna equitate that, but that positive intentions I have with that, and being like, oh, do I know how to understand people on a philosophical level that even my philosophy doesn't emerge to quite yet? Because I can't be that arrogant, but but being able to have an aesthetical style, a true pandering to the aesthetic, where you're not having to worry about what new ideas bring about and all that stuff, and just that even the true chaos can be mended at some point. It's not supposed to be totally fair in that regard, as a pure true order would not. No, I didn't say like that, but having that too much order is a bad thing. But like it's like having to understand those events socially, methods, and philosophies would be great. Not having to worry about what people are doing when they repurpose a building that's meant to be a school into being another school. Oh, I wonder how that's happened before. No, but that'll be easier to deal with. So that's not like that. But those philosophies, all that. Second item for pros: technology on both a digital and crafty level, while not entirely combined, becomes easier to negotiate in creative ways to learn from both worlds. So the best example I give for this in this present moment is claymation, because we use a camera for the footage shooting, and a little clay box for having to film the animation. That's one simple bare bones 2023 example of that working. But that becomes even easier than that at that point. In this future, it becomes easier to look at technology and be like, okay, we don't have this completely interdisciplinary or completely singularity wise. We don't have this in a complete tandem infinitum. But even without that being intentionally good, deliberately good, we can still find ways to negotiate those systems. In other words, we find that maybe a camera can be used to record something that's not cliche technology. We have a camera recording. We have a specific camera only meant to record dishwashing products. And then we sponsor that camera. It's only meant for dishwashing products. It's not meant to be a bad thing. It's meant to be a good thing. We all have this specific DSLR. It's meant to record dishwashing products being marketed. And then when we market the dishwashing products, we can reel back and sponsor the camera that helped record those products. Just because we can use for other kinds of marketed tools and assets and items in the economy doesn't mean we're not concerned about that right now. We give it a chance to do that. It looks silenced and focused and censored, but at the same time, it is also doing something that no one else will think of has it coming. And then they'll be like, wow, now you think of that camera recording those dishwashing liquid products on the market. I have this idea for dishwashing liquid that cleans cameras. Ta-da! Problem solved a little bit, but not too much chaos and creativity. Maybe not. But yeah, that kind of thing where it's like interdisciplinary in a way that's not even just the actual physical items being combined. It's like the ideas and the concepts of that. Concepts. Item number 3. People start to become more tolerant and distinctive modes of speech. Although transparent messages are helpful, not even language is totally in beauty. That speaks for itself, honestly. I'm not trying to avoid it right now, but all I want to say about number 3 is that I understand what Jordan Peterson means by not having a style of communication if you can't even use it. I understand that, but it's like, but there's beauty in the things. As much as I see beauty and freedom and creativity and things that are complicated, the people who see beauty and freedom and creativity and simple things will know how to negotiate that better, because they'll feel more sympathetic for people who are like that either way. and we to them maybe. I'm not trying to distinctivize that, but maybe me to them and them to us, and then that'll be different. A little bit of projection, but I'm not trying to be bad about that. But yeah, hope you know what I mean by that. Number 4 of pros of the future possible. Sexuality addresses itself not only through divinity, but by truly exciting advances to embrace one's ego and drive, accepting male and female assets of said drives. Yeah, there's the ego, which has been seen as selfishness or analytical thinking brain and other things. There's not a true definition of ego in my understanding. And then there's the divine self. You're not supposed to get rid of the ego. You're supposed to incorporate the ego with the divine self so that when you have a better person overall, you're not only thinking about being perfect or imperfect in that regard. That's not even the only way to see it. But you can concern yourself with who you are inherently, with who you could be, and make sure that those both worlds can become their own thing. And they don't have to just be, oh, throw this out because it's only bad, or throw this out because it's not good in the long run. No, you incorporate both. You don't even worry about which one is better than the other. You just incorporate both. And that's a little bit of the way I said that in this script was a little different, but it's still the same idea, I guess. Through sexuality, through accepting who you are while embracing what you can do. And that can be in a different context, but that's how I say it. So numbers 5 of 6. Artistry not only stops hiding in the dark, but becomes an absolutely engaged slice of life, all human life, while logistics are easier to taper into when being that creative. I have a big gambit with anime and manga being hidden in society, and should creativity be easier to understand? Should art and animation's version of creativity be easier to incorporate into the world? Should it be forced into the world? Should it not be something that everyone should give a shit about? You name it, stuff like that. I believe that there's a way to incorporate creativity to everyone's life, not just the females, everyone's life. Everyone's going to have some form of creativity that helps them without compromising their logistical ways of doing things. Their logic and their rationality will not be compromised. Their idea of STEM, or STEAM, their idea of being a truly on-point person who does care on a humanistic, maybe ego, but humanistic level will be there. The earth and fire will still be there, but the water and air can't be left behind, or something like that. So it's like that combination of creativity and logic is what I hope for people, anyways. And finally, number 6 of 6, raising the vibration of the planet becomes so concurrent with one's confidence, no one forces childbirth or workloads or anything. Being here is its own blessing, now and forever.